Hey guys, happy Friday. Sayla here with SM Strategies. I've been getting a lot of requests for freelancing tips and insight into how I've built my freelancing business. So I thought I would turn today's video into Freelance Friday and give you 3 tips to success as a freelancer. So let's jump straight into it. The first tip is about networking. I've never cold called. All of my clients and all of my leads have always come because I've been a great networker. And there are several elements that go into this. The first idea I have is LinkedIn. I've used LinkedIn to pretty much build up my business. I've gotten tons of leads from LinkedIn. And one of the ways that I did that is by making my LinkedIn very search friendly. So in the header of my LinkedIn in the headline, it says social media freelancer. And that has made it so that lots of companies and businesses and other people can connect with me when they're searching for a person like that to add to their team. The other thing I did is I am a part of lots of different freelancing Facebook groups. I'm in about 12 now. And when I'm heavy prospecting, I spend about 2 hours a day in those groups. Building up conversations with people, commenting on things, offering free advice. Never once have I gone in there and been like, hey, looking to take on a few more clients, please send me a DM. I don't do that. I just give, and then eventually somebody comes along. And that's really important because social media is all about building a community. People don't want to be sold to constantly. People don't want to have you take from them. So make sure that you remember social media as a community. When you're in those Facebook groups, abide by all the guidelines, all the rules that are already within the group. And clients and leads will definitely come your way. And then the final one is get out from behind your computer and start networking. Get out there. Whether you live in a big city or a small city, there are groups and places that you can go to meet potential clients. When I first started freelancing, I was going to 2-3 networking events a week. I go to conferences just to get my name out there and to meet new people in the same industry as me. All of those things will help you make real life connections that will turn to leads that will eventually turn into clients. So when you go to those networking events, make sure you have a plan. Pick events that are not only great for you in terms of they're similar to what you do and there will be like-minded people there, but also pick places and events where your clients might be hanging out, right? An example of that is going to meetups for people who are starting small businesses or going to meetups for people who are designers, that sort of thing. So really think about that when you're going to networking events and choosing groups that you want to be a part of. Think of not only what do I do and what is my industry, but also where are my clients and my future clients. And then the second tip I have is something that was said to me when I first started, which is say no to some things so you can say yes to other things. This is really hard for me because I get super excited about every single client that comes my way, every single possible lead. Sounds like a really exciting project, and I know I can do a really great job for them. But you have to really sit there and think about what does it take to serve this client well, and does it align with my strengths? Is it stuff that I actually enjoy doing? Will I help this client meet their goals? Make sure that you're saying no to some things so that you can say yes to other things that align with your business, your growth, and where you want to be. I want to add on to that just because I've lived by that, but I've also always taken the meeting and I've always taken the phone call. So every lead that comes my way, I usually always hop on the phone with them or take a meeting, which I know is super controversial because our time is very precious, especially as a freelancer and a young business owner. Like, your time is precious. But on the other hand, you never know what's actually going to happen in that meeting, right? For example, I've taken some meetings that have been, the possibility of a full-time job or maybe a client that I didn't really think I wanted to work with. But by taking that meeting, not only does it open up the door for you to connect with people that they might know, but it also could be a completely different opportunity than what you were thinking. Maybe they only really wanted to hire a contractor, or maybe they just wanted to talk to you to see if you knew of anybody else who might make a fit, and then you're creating another connection, right? So say no so you can say yes to other things, but always take the meeting and always hear that other person out. The third and final tip I have for you on this Friday is setting client expectations. This is something I learned pretty quickly. You usually learn this when you're in an agency, but make sure that you are very clear with your goals with your client from the beginning. You know, if they want to see 100,000 new likes on their Facebook page, make sure that not only is that something that you think you can do, but also make sure that's a solid goal, right? In the beginning, you know, you're kind of looking for any work that you can get, and you take on anything you can. But it's really important to make sure you have those client goals in mind so that you have something to refer to, and you can tell your client, hey, look, I'm doing a good job, we're reaching our goals, blah, blah, blah. And you're not just out there, you know, doing whatever you think is accurate. Always make sure you're setting those expectations and you're having those conversations with your client. And within that, I learned the hard way that you should also probably have some form of a contract. It doesn't have to be anything formal. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It just needs to say what you talked about in a meeting with them and have some form of agreement or signature of what you guys are going to accomplish together. This is really important, not only for payment reasons, but also it's really important to make sure that you and your client are on the right track. They don't really care how you get from point A to point C. They don't care about point B, but they do care that it's done, that it provides value for their business, and that you're on the right track towards helping them with their goals, right? Like, honestly, a freelancer is somewhat disposable to any business that you become a part of. Any client you take on, you're disposable. There are other freelancers out there. There are other ways that these companies and businesses can replace their income. But if you're actually providing value and you're showing them how much value you're providing, then when they're looking to make cuts, they're not going to be like, oh, I'm going to cut social media because what is social media doing for my business? They're going to be like, if we cut social media, we are losing X, Y, and Z. We are losing X amount of leads. We're losing, a return on an investment. Our sales are going to go down, whatever. Make sure that's very clear so that you're less disposable to your client. The other point about client expectations, it's really important. All of that is great reason to set client expectations, right? Proving that you're not disposable, being on the right track, showing your success, all of that is important. But also on a personal level, being a freelancer, you work by yourself. I've found ways around that. I've found my network of people that I turn to when I need help. But generally, like, you're the one to decide, are you doing a good job or are you doing a bad job? So, set those client expectations so that you can give yourself a pat on the back, or you can light the fire under your tail, right? Like, having those client expectations and knowing what goals you're reaching towards will make you feel less alone, which is so important as a freelancer. The only thing we have really to prove our success is the numbers, and the goals we've set and how we're getting there. So set those client expectations. Cool. So I've mentioned my 3 tips for Freelance Friday. The first one being networking, find your place, join groups of people who are doing something similar to you, other freelancers, other social media people, other designers, whatever your industry is. And then also join groups and go to events for places where your potential and your potential clients might be. Tip number 2, say no so you can say yes to other things, but also always take the meeting, always take the phone call, go into things with an open heart and an open mind. And then tip number 3 is set client expectations. Make sure you're meeting those goals. Make sure you know what those goals are. Make sure you have some form of contract, not only so you can, get paid, but also so that you can prove you're doing a good job, not only to your client, but to yourself. Awesome, guys. This wraps up our Friday. I hope you have a great weekend. Please feel free to comment any questions you might have down below. Otherwise, you feel free to check out my website if you want to know more about what I do, or send me a DM or a message on my website, selahshepard.com. Thanks so much. Have a great day and a great weekend.